The light processing unit, or LPU, contains the printer's laser diode, galvanometer, and other mirrors and lenses that aim the laser along its path for each layer of a print. The LPU sits within the LPU housing, which travels left and right underneath the resin tank. A malfunctioning LPU will prevent the printer from printing properly. Use this guide to replace the Form 3 light processing unit. If this video helps you solve your printer's issue, please like the video, and thanks for watching. First, prepare the Form 3 and a dust-free workspace for replacing the LPU. Remove the build platform first to avoid dripping resin onto the LPU or the printer cavity. Next, remove the resin cartridge and close the vent cap to prevent resin from dripping off of the bite valve and into the printer. Remove the resin tank, place it in the resin tank case, and cover it with its lid. Before we begin, clear a workspace around your printer. Clean any resin pooled on the printer floor inside the printer cavity with paper towels. Dampen the paper towels with isopropyl alcohol if necessary to fully remove the resin. With the printer plugged in and powered on, tap the gear icon to enter the settings menu. Then tap Maintenance, then LPU Replacement. Follow the on-screen instructions and the LPU housing will move from its storage position on the right side of the printer into its maintenance position. When prompted by the touchscreen, disconnect the power cable before continuing with maintenance. Do not perform maintenance on the printer while it is connected to power. Replacing the LPU while the printer is connected to power will permanently damage the printer. Check inside the printer and clean any resin in the area of the LPU housing or the printer with paper towels. You may dampen the paper towels with isopropyl alcohol if necessary to fully remove the resin. Now we will work on removing and unplugging the LPU. The fixed roller holder, located on the top of the LPU housing, has a clear window in the middle through which the laser passes. Cover the window with a lint-free cover such as a non-abrasive wipe to protect it during maintenance. Use the provided 3mm hex driver to fully loosen the 3 hex screws in the LPU housing. The screws are located towards the rear of the left side of the LPU housing. Loosen the screws until they disengage from the LPU. The screws are captive and will remain attached to the LPU housing when fully loose. If any of the captive screws come out of the LPU housing, thread them back into the LPU housing before continuing. Next, loosen the thumb screw at the rear of the LPU housing. Leave the last 2 or 3 threads of the thumb screw engaged. Unseat the LPU from the LPU housing by pressing on the thumb screw while pulling on the plastic cover on the right side of the LPU. Do not pull on the LPU's circuit board. Once the LPU begins to move, loosen the thumb screw further. Continue to pull on the plastic guard until the LPU is fully free and rests to the right of the LPU housing. Tilt the LPU forwards towards the front of the printer. A black ribbon cable will be visible attached to the rear of the LPU. You will see that there is a small tap at the base of the ribbon cable plug. Press in toward the cable and gently pull the plug to disconnect the ribbon cable from the LPU. You may find it easier to use a small plastic tool, such as a pair of tweezers, to press on the tab. Remember, the LPU ribbon cable is delicate. Do not bend, fold, or otherwise damage the ribbon cable while disconnecting it. Feed the ribbon cable through the LPU housing so that the ribbon cable connector rests inside the housing. This will protect the ribbon cable from damage during the rest of the LPU removal procedure. Now, tilt the LPU backwards towards the rear of the printer. 3 cables will be visible, connected to the front of the LPU. Disconnect each of the 3 cables by gripping its plug and gently pulling away from the LPU. Remove the LPU from the printer and place it aside. If the LPU has resin on it, place the LPU on a paper towel away from the printer to avoid contaminating other surfaces. If you find that the LPU ribbon cable has been damaged before or while replacing the LPU, it is then necessary to remove and replace the ribbon cable. Using the provided 2mm hex driver, unscrew and remove the 2mm screws holding the LPU ribbon cable retention clip to the printer frame. Remove the clip from the ribbon cable and set it aside. Same as before, there is a small tab at the base of the ribbon cable. Press it toward the left side of the printer, or in other words, toward the cable, and gently pull on the plug to disconnect the ribbon cable from the printer. Again, you may find it easier to use a small plastic tool such as a pair of tweezers to press in on the tab. Gently thread the ribbon cable between the LPU housing and the rear of the printer to remove it. Thread the new ribbon cable between the LPU housing and the rear of the printer. At this point, it may be helpful to attach the retention clip to the new ribbon cable. Connect the ribbon cable to the cable connector in the printer cavity, ensuring that the cable is fully seated. The cable will only fit into the plug in one orientation. Using the retention clip on the new ribbon cable, insert the two 2mm hex screws into the ribbon cable retention clip and thread them into the printer frame. Using the provided 2mm hex driver, tighten both screws until snug. Finally, thread the left end of the ribbon cable into the LPU housing through the small rectangular hole in the left side of the LPU housing. Your new ribbon cable is now installed in the printer. It is now time to connect and install the replacement LPU. If there was resin on the old LPU, clean the inside of the LPU housing with paper towels before continuing. Again, you may need to dampen the paper towels with isopropyl alcohol if necessary to fully remove the resin. Carefully remove the new LPU from its packaging, but do not remove the cover from the module at this time. Insert the LPU into the printer in the same orientation as the old module. Tilt the LPU backwards towards the rear of the printer. Reconnect the 3 cables to the front of the LPU, ensuring that each is fully seated. Each plug is sized so that it will only fit into the appropriate connector. Now, tilt the LPU forwards towards the front of the printer. Reconnect the ribbon cable to the cable connector on the back of the LPU, ensuring that the cable is fully seated. Then, remove the cover from the LPU. Gently feed the ribbon cable through the back of the LPU housing while guiding the LPU into position. Push on the plastic cover on the right side of the LPU to press the LPU into its housing, making sure not to push on the circuit board underneath the cover. When the LPU is in place, the white gasket around the top of the LPU may still be visible through the laser window in the roller holder. Insert the thumb screw into its hole on the left side of the LPU housing and tighten it. Tightening the thumb screw will pull the LPU further inside the housing. When the LPU is fully seated, the white gasket should no longer be visible. Hand tighten the 3 hex screws to ensure that they thread into the LPU properly. Finish tightening the hex screws using the provided hex driver until they are finger tight. Do not over-tighten the screws. Once you have tightened the hex screws, check and retighten the thumb screw if necessary. Check the optical window in the roller holder for debris or smudges. If the window is dirty, clean it with the included glass cleaning wipe. Starting from the far end of the window, wipe slowly, pulling the wipe towards you. Make multiple passes until their entire surface is clean. We are now almost at the end of our repair. After installing the new LPU, power on the printer and perform final checks. Close the printer cover and connect the power cable to the printer and the power supply. At this stage in the repair, the printer will initialize. The LPU will move back to its home position and perform a calibration. Insert any missing consumables and upload and start a print. Check that the print starts normally and that the parts print successfully. Did this video help you get printing again? If so, please leave a like on our video and subscribe for more content. What video would you like to see next? Leave a comment telling us more.